It was a 3-year nightmare for a Puyallup man who had to deal with tenants who trashed his wife's home after she passed away. Tonight, the homeowner speaks with our Jesse Jones about his frustration with the legal process of regaining control of the house.
And he says the damage was not only financial, it also broke his heart.
She finally lost the battle.
Glenn Jasmer is a widower and a reluctant landlord.
She recently passed, and I'm glad she passed so she doesn't have to see what's happening to her house, her pride and joy.
Dana was Glenn's wife. She owned the Puyallup home when the two got married. After renting it in 2020, it's become a legal nightmare.
Wow, yeah, that's disgusting.
After renting it, the only view he gets of the place
It's just a disgusting.
is peeking over the fence.
They don't pay their garbage bill, which is mandatory in the city of Puyallup.
Glenn adds at one point the water was cut off. Now, neighbors complain of vermin.
I don't know how the city can allow this to happen.
And through all of this, Glenn claims his total losses are nearing $50,000.
Almost immediately after them moving in, they stopped paying rent. And they would pay rent, then skip a couple of months, then pay rent again, or pay half a month rent, or skip a couple of months, and so forth.
Glenn's case highlights the difficult terrain in the new landscape of landlord-tenant disputes. He says it's unfair that tenants were represented by a free lawyer that he and all taxpayers fund.
That means our tax dollars are going to fund a public defense law firm, Housing Justice Project, that is a not-for-profit org that provides defense to residents who are facing eviction. So folks haven't paid their rent or are not obeying the rules. So the state is paying for their defense.
Sean Flynn is the director of the Washington Rental Housing Association.
The tenant then now has an endless supply of tax dollars to fight the housing provider, who is paying their attorney hourly.
Mark Morzal is the managing attorney for Tacoma Pro Bono Housing Justice Project. He says his group is not causing delays, but rather forcing landlords' lawyers to follow the letter of the law.
And so there is protections built into the law, that certain notifications that have to be given to tenants, and you have to follow those strictly. And I don't think enforcing that is really a technicality. It's the way the law is written. So it isn't that defense attorneys are really hindering or delaying this any more than, the landlord has certain responsibilities that they have to follow before they get their eviction.
Over 2 years, Morzal's group will receive $1.6 million from the state to fund its 11 attorneys handling Pierce County cases.
We represented 1,410 tenants. That's an average of about just shy of $600 per tenant. So if we're spending $600 and we are stopping you when you're spending thousands of dollars on your attorney, what does it say about your attorney, right?
And Glenn says after a 3-year battle, the court ruled and he regained control of his home.
I just want to go and get it over with, and I never want to come back. This is the last time I want to be here.
This is the first time Glenn has seen the inside of his home in 3 years.
That's criminal. They should be arrested for doing this.
It smells worse than it looks. Trash and damage is everywhere, from the floor to the walls.
I'm just so angry right now. It's, I can't even put it into words what they've done to this house and my feelings toward them.
Glenn will not be reimbursed for these losses. He estimates it will cost more than $30,000 to get the home back into the shape it was when Dana purchased it. Now it's up for sale because nothing here will ever be the same again.
I don't know how their lawyer can allow this to happen. I don't know how the judge can allow this to happen. I don't know how the governor can allow this to happen. They just don't care.
Glenn says he tried to get into the home while the tenants were living there, but they would not let him in. He did receive $36,000 from the state in 2022 to help recover his losses. But after signing that agreement, Glenn says the tenants did not follow through with the payment plan.
It just makes you sick to your stomach. And other tenants who need assistance don't treat property like that. So can we talk a little bit about this pro bono housing justice project?
Yeah, the program's only for low-income tenants. Now, in addition to the 11 attorneys for Pierce County, they also have 7 more who serve Kitsap, Thurston, Clark, Grays Harbor, Benton, and Franklin counties. And now, here's the other thing. We talked to the other Housing Justice Project folks, Pierce County and King County. They tell me they have a story to tell. We are investigating that.
Oh.
And that's coming up on Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm looking forward to the story, but it breaks your heart that there are so many
Yes.
people living through this, and just that the tears. You know, his wife is gone, and now this piece of her on earth is now trashed.
He was able to sell the house.
Good.
And so we've been waiting on this story just for a little bit to make
Okay.
sure he was able to sell the house, but everything was repaired. He sold the house, but just the pain and the heartbreak of having to go through this and have it last so long
Yeah.
just seems unfair.
Hopefully he can start to mend now.
You
Thanks
got
a
it.
lot, Jesse. Now, if you have something you want Jesse to investigate, give him a call. The number's right there, 844-77-JESSE. You can also submit story ideas on jessejones.com.